Well, good afternoon, everyone. This is Jim Heyman. I'm the Business Development Manager for CGNA, and I'm very grateful that you're with us here on the call this afternoon. We got a great webinar. I got an amazing product we're going to be hearing about from Johnson Controls, and we're just so glad you could join us. So anyway, let's a couple of kind of housekeeping things that I would like to mention real quick at the beginning here. First of all, and I think many of you that have been on this call, you know, we have all of you that are attendees muted. It's just, we learned some time ago it's too difficult, there's too much noise, and it's quite a distraction if we have the lines open. So you will be muted, you'll be able to hear fine, but you will not be able to speak to the presenter. However, Brandon definitely wants your questions. He's made time for that. He'll answer them as you type them in, so please use your chat box there to record any questions that you have, get them down, and that's why he's here today. So please feel free to do that. Also, if there's someone from your company that is not able to be on the call, that wanted to be, maybe they're registered, but they can't get away from the counter or something pulled them away, this will be recorded and it will be available on demand, and Harshal we'll be getting that out to you as an attendee. There's some good news at the end in light of those of you that are on the call today as attendees, in light of a promotion that Johnson's put together just for CGNA. And also, I'll let him tell you more about it. There are a couple of handouts that you can probably see on the right side of your screen. Those are one's a brochure, one is technical specifications about the GLAS thermostat. Those are available. All you have to do is click on them and download them, and so those have been made available to you as well today. So anyway, our presenter, I'm very pleased to have Brandon with us. The title of this webinar today is it's their GLAS Smart Thermostat Training, and Brandon Davis is the Business Development Manager for GLAS at Johnson Controls. So Brandon, we're very glad to have you, sir. It's all yours. Take it away. Welcome.
Sounds great. Thank you, Jim, and thank you, everybody, for joining us today. I'm definitely excited to be here. It's a great opportunity to continue some of the excitement. Some of you may have possibly been out at the CGNA seminar a couple weeks ago where I spoke a little bit on some updates around GLAS, and this is really just to follow on the heels of that to offer some additional information, keep that momentum and excitement going, answer some more questions, and really just keep getting the word out around GLAS. As Jim mentioned, I'm the Business Development Manager for GLAS. I've been with Johnson Controls about 10 years. Started in controls products, know a lot of the distributors on the East Coast where I live, and then worked my way around into some of our equipment businesses, and then had the opportunity to come back recently to the controls products team to join the GLAS team. Super exciting product, as I think everybody knows. Super exciting team to be a part of. Really something different, all around for Johnson Controls as how we're approaching this, and it's just been super exciting. We're glad to finally be where we are. So with that, I'll jump right in here. So the plan here is to kind of go through some of the more in-depth features of GLAS. At the end of the day, it's a smart thermostat, so it's not going to be a 3-hour presentation. But wanted to just touch on the features, the current capabilities of GLAS, talk a little bit about how it compares to the competition, talk a little bit about the resources and some marketing assets that we have available. There's a lot of things that we've put together for GLAS to help you and with your customers that you may not have seen from us for other products. So we're really excited to get those out and to help you with those. And then as Jim mentioned, we've got a little special at the end. So if you're tempted to drop off early, I would encourage you to stay on just till the end. So when we look at the GLAS thermostat, there's really I have 4 bullet points here, but 3 primary differentiators that we talk about. I'll talk about each one of these in a little bit more depth, but I'll talk about how we do energy savings and reporting. It's a little different than what you might be familiar with if you have a smart thermostat already or what you've seen. Air quality monitoring, voice assistance, and then last certainly but not least is the design itself. So when we look at the energy savings and reporting capabilities of GLAS, it's a little bit unique, as I mentioned. So GLAS has a built-in occupancy sensor on board, and that's constantly scanning the space around you and around the thermostat to see if there's movement in somebody's home. It can do things like setbacks. It can actually turn the unit off if you're away. It can do preheating, pre-cooling, things like that based on that occupancy. Now, for myself, I work from home, so I walk past my thermostat a lot during the day. So when I initially set up the GLAS thermostat, it was really showing me 0% energy savings. And I thought, man, this is kind of weird. What's going on? And I was checking my settings. And then we went out for the weekend and we came back, and unbeknownst to me, everything was the same, but I looked and I had 8% energy savings over the weekend. And so what it's actually telling you, you can see the screen, it shows hours of energy saved or a percent energy saved. And what it's doing is it's saying, okay, if you use this feature with this occupancy sensor and you allow GLAS to learn your schedule, to do those setbacks and turn the unit off or do different setbacks while you're away, or it senses that you're away, it's going to show you how much energy in the form of hours or percent that you've saved versus if you had not used that feature. So if you had just let your programmable schedule run throughout the day like you normally would, it's going to show you how much more energy you're saving by utilizing this feature. We do give the users the ability to turn that occupancy sensor off. It is one thing that we heard from some competitive comparisons, that there were some people that got a little annoyed by that. It was turning the unit off when they were home and some different things like that. So we wanted to give the users the best possible experience. So we do give you the option to turn that off. And then, of course, it'll reflect your energy savings if you're using it. And if not, then, it'll just go back to your standard programmable schedule. Next, a real big differentiator is indoor air quality monitoring. So GLAS is the only thermostat on the market today right now that is able to do this all on board. On board of the device, no additional sensors or anything. We're monitoring relative humidity, total VOCs, and equivalent CO2. Total VOCs is really kind of an aggregate of a lot of different things. If you go to the EPA's website, it'll show you a whole laundry list of different chemical compounds and cancer-causing agents and things like that roll up into the total VOC number. Things like, if you have new construction home, paint, new carpet, even new mattresses have been known to off-gas VOCs. We've had a few people that have reported since they've actually installed GLAS that it showed that they had a VOC problem, and after doing some investigation, they found that they had some old paint cans in the basement that they never realized were causing any sort of issue. And once they removed those from the space, their VOC levels actually dropped. So it really helps bring some awareness to something that typically is totally out of sight, out of mind. We really don't think about air quality because we can't see it. I use the example when I was at the CGNA seminar a few weeks ago. I myself was blind to it until I happened to get a GLAS and was using it as demo purposes, and it was sitting right on my desk. And I could see right in front of me now what was happening with my indoor air quality, and I could see if something was dropping, something was out of the ordinary. And then on top of that, I also have a 1-year-old in the home now. So that, combined with now being able to see what's happening in my space, is really important to be able to help provide the best air quality possible, where it's in the past it was very easy to overlook and ignore. So real unique feature and a really nice differentiator for GLAS. We're also monitoring the outdoor air quality as well. Now this is through Wi-Fi, no additional sensors, but it's not on board. So when you set up the GLAS device and you connect it to the Wi-Fi in your home, then you enter in your zip code during the setup process, and what it then does is it connects up to the AccuWeather cloud, and it pulls down all of your outdoor air conditions. So outdoor air temperature, highs, lows, your daily forecast, UV index, pollen count, things like that. It also will compare the two. So there is an aux output on the GLAS device that can be hooked up to a humidifier, a dehumidifier, even a ventilator. So if you do have any of those devices hooked up, as your air quality starts to drop, that's when it'll start kicking in that aux device, depending on how you've set it up in the setup screens. And it'll start actually, if you have the ability to bring in outside air, it'll actually look at the outside air conditions first, compare them to the indoor. So it's going to make sure it's actually providing the best air quality possible. Next differentiator, and I would probably argue that this isn't really a differentiator because things change in this landscape so frequently, would be the voice control, voice assistant piece. Obviously, that's a big thing in smart home these days, and I think we've all heard all the different names and things going along with it. Originally, the GLAS only was going to have Cortana built in on board, and that was really tied to the Microsoft operating system that powers GLAS, a pretty powerful operating system, and Cortana came along with that. So we heard a lot that in the development process, of course, that Cortana is certainly not as widely adopted as some of the other voice assistants out there. So one of the reasons that we were a bit more delayed in getting the product out was because we wanted to accelerate the integration with Alexa and Google Home. So right now, currently you do have all three available for GLAS. Cortana is the only one that's actually on board the device, so that would not require any sort of additional speakers or voice assistants. It would all be inherent to the GLAS device. But if you do have an Amazon Echo or a Google Mini, you can certainly integrate the GLAS thermostat with those as well very seamlessly. Give the user the ability to pick and choose and not be tied down to one. So if somebody has happened to standardize on Google Home and they see GLAS and they really want it, but oh man, this doesn't hook up to Google Home, I really would buy it if it would. It just gives the user the option when they set up their product. Just a couple of the things that you can ask it to do, certainly asking it what your air quality is, changing the temperature set point up and down. Anybody who has used Cortana, one of the advantages actually of it is that it is integrated with all of the Microsoft applications and Outlook specifically. So you can ask it, if you're utilizing Cortana, things about your calendar, what appointments you might have, what time is your meeting, do I have any new emails? So, potentially while you're getting ready in the morning or making breakfast, you can ask it what your schedule looks like for the day or things like that. So just a couple of different examples of some things that you can communicate with it. Now, things like Cortana also integrate with some of these other companies as well, things like Samsung SmartThings, Philips Hue, Insteon, Wink. So that allows the device to then become more of a hub for controlling and integrating with things like lighting, ceiling fans, and other appliances throughout the house as well. So lots of different options that continue to grow every single day with all of this whole voice assistant landscape. So the important thing is just to know really that you do have options depending on which assistant you might prefer or a customer might prefer. Then last but not least, again, is certainly the aesthetic. It's really the first thing, of course, that anybody notices about GLAS. It really sets it apart from anything that's ever been seen in the market. It's the first thermostat I've ever heard people describe as sexy, and a lot of people that have said that have said at the same breath that they've never thought that they would ever say that about a thermostat, but it truly is. If you've seen it in person, pictures just don't do it justice. It really is a really amazing, piece of artwork that's been created. The big piece of that is the screen, which is a 40% transparent OLED screen. It's actually made for us by Samsung. We're the first manufacturer in the HVAC industry that's ever used a screen like that on a device. So that's pretty cool. You can do everything. It's all right on board. All your brightness, volume control, everything is right directly on the screen. There's no additional buttons or anything like that. A couple of other few little things I'd like to mention. Notifications, you can set up a host of different notifications through the device, whether it's for setting up HVAC service reminders, filter reminders. If your air quality does start to drop or go outside of certain ranges, or even the temperature and humidity, you can have it set up to notify you either via the app or on screen. I've heard from some people that they found that a pretty handy feature, especially for vacation homes that might be across the country, or a beach home where they're not there as frequently, and they can see what's happening if temperatures start to drop and they have their risk of freezing pipes or things like that. It gives them some visibility into what's going on with their system. I also want to just talk about applications. So I think everybody, if you're familiar with GLAS, I think everybody is probably familiar with that it is primarily a residential thermostat at this point for the first release. It works with most 24 VAC heating and cooling systems. We are too heat, too cool for a conventional system. We can do heat pumps. Again, I mentioned we do have that aux output that can be used for either humidifier, dehumidifier, ventilator, HRV. We also include a C-wire adapter in the box, and for anybody who's not familiar with that, if you installed a programmable thermostat recently, all programmable thermostats require 5 wires to connect them, and a lot of older homes will only have 4 wires going between the thermostat and the unit downstairs or wherever it may be in your house. So this gives you the ability to actually pull, this adapter pulls power from one of the other wires and essentially turns 4 wires into 5 wires without having to pull an additional wire between your thermostat and your unit, which certainly could be, in most cases, pretty cumbersome depending on where they are in relation to each other. And we include that in the box. So do several other competitors as well. But we want to make it a seamless install for as many people as we possibly can. When we look at the comparison to our top competitors out there that we are going head-to-head against, we've touched on pretty much most of these differentiators. And again, where GLAS stands out is its aesthetic, the indoor air quality piece that we talked about, and the voice control piece, which again, this chart may even be out of date, just recently, because again, we know how technology changes and these things are continually adapting, and it's a very dynamic landscape. So really, those are the main places we talked about where you see that GLAS really stands out from the competition. All right, so that's basically the overview on GLAS. I'll talk a little bit now about some of the GLAS marketing assets that we have. Again, Jim mentioned that you do have the brochure and the spec sheet there for you to download, certainly, and use for your use. There are hard copies of that brochure that are orderable that you can get if that's something that you want to have to be able to hand out to customers. That's, of course, as you can tell, the brochure is a much more customer-facing type of piece of literature. I would encourage you to get with your account managers or your distributors on any of this information that you might want to get your hands on. We do have different email templates, HTML email templates we can customize if there's email blasts that you're interested in sending out to customers. We have trade show banners. We've got all sorts of digital content. So if you have a digital internet presence, we have tons and tons of digital images and videos and things that we can provide for digital content. You can see down there in the right corner the packaging. This is not your typical white Johnson Controls box with the blue label over the side of it that you're used to seeing. This is very much more consumer-focused product with very much consumer-focused packaging and things to go along with it. So again, any of this is available to you and your customers. Again, I would get in touch with your distributor or your account manager, depending on what the case may be, to help get you anything that you might see here. All right. So again, I mentioned this is going to be a shorter one, I think, but we'll leave plenty of time at the end here for questions. But I did want to talk about the special offer. So for everybody that has taken time out of their day this afternoon to attend, and for your interest in GLAS, and for sitting through and spending time with us and learning about it, we do have a special offer for everybody that has attended the webinar today. And that comes in the form of a $20 off coupon for a personal GLAS thermostat. So that would be purchased through the GLAS web store. So there's a GLAS website listed there. This will be available for download as well, as Jim mentioned. So if you don't jot this down, you'll be able to pull it from the download. But it's glass.johnsoncontrols.com, very simple. And then the coupon code that we've set up for the attendees today is CGNA Save 20, and you would just enter that at checkout. And this offer expires Sunday, so end of the month. So you've got between now and Sunday evening to take advantage of that. So certainly, if that's something that interests you, I would take advantage of that. Head over to the GLAS website, and this is something we've put together just special for the people who have attended today's session. So just a little bit of a thank you, and just appreciate your attendance and your time. And of course, your interest in GLAS, of course, as well. So that is pretty much everything that I have for the content. I know there's probably a lot of questions, different things that, if things I didn't cover, anything you would like to know, I think they'll open it up now for questions, and we'll go from there.
Okay. All right, Brandon, it's Jim again. Wow, good, cool product. Thank you. Lots of good stuff here. I have a question. Maybe I could kick it off here, and also just a reminder for those of you on the call, Brandon, very glad to take your questions if you'll just type them in. I do know there's been some interest in a commercial version of the GLAS. Is that in the works, and would that be BACnet capable? What can you tell us about the commercial side?
Yep, great question for sure, and especially for this group. So there is a commercial version that is in the works. The plan right now is it's slated for the March release. We're going into pretty much phased releases on a quarterly basis now, so we'll have a release every couple months. So the December release coming up is really going to be mostly behind the scenes, some software things that are going to be updated, and all that as the units are connected to the cloud. That would all just happen seamlessly, and we can push updates down from a software perspective. So that's what you'll see come in December. And then the March release will be the when we're targeting for the commercial version. And that primarily is going to be geared towards having fan coil unit control. So again, today we're single speed, fan, just like residential applications would require. And then you're just single 2 heat, 2 cool. But the commercial version will have 3-speed fan coil control. And then we're still ironing out the details of the backnet portion. There may be a split potentially where you might see a backnet enabled thermostat, or it may go the direction potentially, or both, of having more of a sensor type of version that looks the same as GLAS, but it acts more like a net sensor type of thing that can tie back and report back to backnet as well. So absolutely good question, and there is a commercial version coming, and there will be future versions of that as well. I know there's been people that asked about ECM motors and things like that, and that's on the roadmap for subsequent releases of that commercial version. But you should see the first version of it come in the March spring timeframe.
Okay, good. Harshal, sometimes there are questions that come to your window. Are you seeing any questions that have appeared on your screen?
Yeah, Jim. So we have a few questions actually, and
go ahead, please. Thanks.
Yeah. So the first one is from Scott Cross, and Scott's asking if is this presentation available to us to loop in our office on counter monitors or present by our outside sales staff? I'm sorry.
Yes, absolutely. We have this presentation. I actually have a couple different things that could fit that. So we have this presentation. I would call this a little bit more technical. I have a really nice, more kind of consumer-facing presentation that could loop pretty easily. And we also have a couple nice little, 45, 50-second videos that we've done at trade shows and things that we've had on loop on monitors that just have a little bit of, background sound, no talking, just music, and then kind of running through GLAS and some of its features and things up on the screen. So great question. And certainly we've got a couple different things. I could certainly see one of the videos looping in that scenario in like a lobby monitor or something like that. And then certainly for customer use, we'll happily provide these presentations as well.
How would we get that, Brandon? Is that something that could be emailed? Does that need to be hard copy, sent in the mail? What would you do?
I think I can email it, and I guess the one thing might be the size of the files, but I'll try to email it to you, Jim, and then we can send it out from there if that works. If it's too big of a file, we can work out something via Dropbox or something pretty easily.
Yeah, got it. Okay. Good question. Next question, Harshal. Go ahead.
Yeah. So the next question is by Mike Bachman, and Mike asks, "Is this available now? And what's the lead time on the orders?"
Yep, this is available right now. We stock this product in our distribution center in Lithia Springs, Georgia. So basically, if an order is received today, it will usually ship either same day or next day. And so obviously, depending on where it's going to, that distribution center being on the East Coast, we've had some East Coast customers get it, within 2 to 3 days. West Coast might be a few more, but yep, absolutely available now, and we'll ship out, usually same day or next day.
All right, good, excellent. So it's there, ready to go. Harshal, what else?
Yeah, so the next one is by Timothy Horst, and he asks, "Are there wireless remote sensors for GLAS similar to ecobee?"
Another great question. So not as of the first release currently, but that's probably been one of the biggest comments I think that we've gotten, mostly because our competitors do have that, and it is a nice feature, certainly when you're looking at different spots in your house, if it, is heating and cooling a little bit disproportionately around the space, and to be able to have that. So it is absolutely on our roadmap, and that will likely be probably a spring release feature on this version as well. So you will see remote sensors coming soon. Yep.
Okay.
So next question is by Scott Cross. He asks, besides through distribution, where else is this product available? Can distribution compete with the other avenues of purchase at a fair margin?
Another good question. So with this being a residential focused product, how we looked at our distribution strategy with this product and looking at, where smart thermostats are typically purchased. Retail is obviously a very big channel for those types of products, that it's not something that we can ignore. So we certainly do have a retail presence, and we will with this product through, Amazon and Home Depots and some of the big box stores. We also have the pro commercial channel, which is an important channel to us, that obviously here. And so the way that we are, we're basically managing that through a couple different ways. One, through pricing. We have a MAP price that we've set out in the marketplace, so it's a minimum advertised price, and that's meant to really help protect our channels so that we don't have, places like Amazon and things like that undercutting our other channel partners and things like that. So that's something that we actively manage constantly with all of our channel partners, and it really affects more. Everybody's eyes are more on the retail space, as you can imagine. So that's one way. We have set it up where the commercial version, not commercial, I should say the distribution version, I don't want to confuse with the fan coil version. So the distribution model, which is exactly the same model, but we have linked a third year warranty to it. So there is additional warranty that this distribution version gets as well. And I will be honest that the product is margin challenged a bit in the beginning. We're working through some cost savings measures and some things that we're working towards to help improve the margin. But we are in a position to work with distributors and contractors, of course, to be able to help everybody in the chain make money on the product. So absolutely, good question.
Great. So the next question is by Jim Gleason, and Jim asks, is there any cloud fee for the 10 thermostats per location?
No, there is no cloud fee whatsoever for consumers or contractors. That's all something that is absorbed by Johnson Controls.
Okay.
The next question is by Scott Cross. I guess he kind of answered this, but I'll read out the question again. It's, what is going to be done to protect pricing from being eroded by other low margin channels?
So if I understand the question, the MAP pricing that we set out there is meant to dictate the minimum advertised price that any particular partner can advertise the product for. So you're not going to see it out there. Our MAP price is set at $319, so you're not going to see the product advertised for less than $319 out there. Same with that'll be at Amazon, that'll be at Home Depot. Now that doesn't mean that you won't see holiday specials and things like that come up from time to time, but we're actively managing how they advertise and what they're listing the price for out there. And as we do that, we have a policy that's in place. It's actually out on our website. You can go view it. We have some little bit of ammunition that we can take, and at the end of the day, if we have partners that are continuing to violate that policy and sell and advertise and list the product for less than what they should be, then those are partners that we will no longer sell the product to. So that's kind of our path to enforcing that and to making sure that we're helping protect that margin across all channels.
All right. Marshall, any other questions?
Nope, that's it. So those are all the questions. I see a hand raised by Jim Gleason, but I'm guessing it was for the same question that I asked before. But yeah,
Okay.
that's it.
Okay, so you gave a price there that's your minimum advertised price. Brandon, what was that?
That is $319.
Okay, so we should not be seeing it for less than that. Okay, okay.
No, now I will say
Go ahead.
one thing I will say with that, and just for everybody on the phone, because I've gotten I get a fair amount of emails. We are managing it across the channels. Doesn't mean you're not going to see it. I've gotten emails from, people that have seen it on eBay for $2.99, or they've seen it at some other reseller for, a lower price. And so it does happen, but those are the instances that, me and my team are all over that. 99% of the time, if anybody is notifying us, we already know about it. And we're in touch. If it's an authorized reseller of ours or a partner of ours, we're already actively enforcing it with them. And if it's an unauthorized reseller, then we're taking appropriate action then too. So I just want to point that out that, you may see it, you may see some numbers. If somebody goes out on eBay and just, looks it up right now, I think there was one out there for $289. So we're, those are things that we're actively enforcing and working towards. And if you see it, you won't see it for very long, because we get it taken care of pretty quickly. So just wanted to point that out.
Good. Brandon, are there any questions appearing in your chat box?
Nope. I don't see any. No, I don't.
Okay.
Actually, let me just see here. Nope, I don't see any directly in mine. No.
Okay. One last one I have is, now there is a discount special you gave a code for those that are on the call today. It's $20 off per stat. Is there a limit to the number that they can order for that discount?
I believe we have that set at 2. So 2 per customer.
Okay, that's valuable. All right. Are you sticking with that? I mean, you got quite.
Yep,
okay,
yeah.
2?
Yeah. Yep. 2. Yep. 2 per customer. Yep.
I was just wondering if the line was breaking up and you were actually saying 200. No, I'm kidding. Okay. So that's available. Yeah. So it's two of them at a $20 discount, and the code there is CGNA Save 20 when they check out.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Good.
Yep.
Well, Harshal, any last questions? If not, we'll bring it to a close here in just a quick moment. Any final questions?
That's it.
Okay. Okay.
Oh,
well,
I'm sorry.
Brandon, any last? Go ahead.
One question just came in from Sean LeBlanc.
Okay.
He's asking, is trending available on the portal?
Catch that, Brandon? You want to repeat that?
Yeah. Yep. So is trending available on the portal, I assume, through, for trending different pieces of information, I guess, if I'm understanding that correctly, about the house, whether it's air quality or temperatures and things like that. So currently, no, that's not something that is available, but there has been discussions around adding in some features around that. I know that there's some other thermostats out there that'll do some trends and keep track of some things and give you some overall reports. But other than as you get into the energy savings screen, that will give you, it'll show your runtime and some things like that over the course of, I think, a 7-day, rolling 7 days. But I think from what I'm thinking that he's probably asking around trending of some other parameters, that's currently not a feature that's built in, but could be in the future.
Okay. All right. Good, good. Well, Brandon, great job. Great presentation. There's a couple last things I want to mention, but first I want to give you an opportunity. Any last thoughts that you'd like to suggest here?
Nope. I think we covered everything really well. Great questions, everybody. I hope everybody took something away from this, and I know that this has been an anxiously awaited product. We're excited to finally be here. So thank you for your time, and thank you for attending today. And certainly, if you have any other questions or anything you think of after the fact, don't hesitate to reach out to Jim, I guess, the team, anybody they can, connect us. I'm happy to help any way I can.
Okay.
Brandon, we actually have a couple more questions. One's a follow-up question by Sean. So the follow-up question is, will this connect to utility company?
That is definitely something that will be coming very soon. So right now, there's a couple different requirements when you work with the utility companies around demand response and things like that. So we're actually working on specifically on our demand response strategy as we speak, and that will open up the utility piece of it. We are working with our first utility right now. We have a partnership with Duke Energy down in the Carolinas. So we are working with them and a couple other utilities on a few other pilot programs. And so you will see that coming in the near future.
Okay. All right. Another question, Harshal?
Yeah, so the next one is a comment, really, not a question. It's from Tammy Davenport, and she says, thank you, I like the product, and do expect to sell quite a few.
Excellent. Good note to close on the last one. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Wow, that's excellent. Hey, listen. Oh, go ahead, Harshal. You got another one?
Yeah, another one from Thomas. Thomas is asking, is the price of $319 $20 off that number? That's the question.
Yes, correct.
Or off. Okay. And then they can put their, got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Couple quick reminders. This webinar is available on demand. So if you'd like to get it for anyone at your company that was not able to be on the call, please get a hold of myself or Harshal. We'll be glad to get it to you. Also, don't forget, if you'd like to download the GLAS brochure or the spec sheet, it's right there on the screen. You just need to click on it, download it. The $20 discount is just available through the end of the month on the 30th. So you can get a good price off a couple of stats there. Also, I'll work with Brandon, and if you're interested in getting the video version that'll loop that you could play on your counter, just get a hold of me, and we'll make sure that that's made available. So, okay. Well, Brandon, listen, great job, sir. Very good presentation. Very cool product. Want to say thank you to all the CGNA members. Very much appreciate some time out of your afternoon. We'll let everybody get back to work. Brandon, Harshal, thank you for all that you do in our office here in California to make this possible. We appreciate it. So have a great day, everybody. Brandon, thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you so much, Jim and Harshal. Appreciate it.
Thanks. Take care, everybody. Yeah, bye-bye.